What is up, guys? Elras everyone here, bringing you guys finally my Dark Magician deck profile. Now, before we begin, two little messages. The first message is that I unfortunately not going to do Cyber Dragons for the little time being because I don't still know how to play them properly. I just need a little bit of a time, so you'll get those later. So I do have the Dark Magician, the Odd Eyes ready. The pure Odd Eyes, I'm probably going to process the Blue Eyes just for fun, just to like rival this for funsies, but we'll see how that goes. And then the second message is like after this week, I'm going to post the schedule. I'm going to tell you what it is going to be right now for the channel. I think one time per week, which probably will be Sunday or Monday, I'm going to post a deck profile. And then probably another day at the week, probably Thursday, will be on either another deck profile, a combo video, an opening, and either a discussion video. So we'll see how that goes, but I think like 2 videos per week will be good enough. But without further ado, let's get started with this deck profile. So I'm going to explain like usual, only explains that the cards that need explanation. So to start things off, you want to run triple of your Dark Magician. This card is basically, it's like a Blue Eyes deck. You cannot get away with playing less than 3, because this card is really important, and it is the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. The next card is, I run double copies of Magician of Dark Illusion. Basically what this card does, if you don't know, is this card is treated as Dark Magician while it's on the field. You can only use each effect of him once per turn. So the first effect, during either player's turn, if you activate a spell card during damage, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. And if you activate a spell and trap or effect while you control, while this card is face up on your field, except during the damage step, again, you can target one Dark Magician in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use the second effect once while it's on the field. So this card is really nice because it helps you like your utility. I wish it also was a Dark Magician in the graveyard, but okay, sure, it's still really helpful, and you just need it too because of the new support. Really good also, just to get it out of the way, is that the legendary dragon decks, instead of like, except from this, gave you almost everything you need, and some cards in the extra deck, of course. And that's actually really dumb because like they reprinted already earlier in the Megatons, but this is just another thing, just to let you guys know, because it's just really dumb in my opinion, but whatever. The next card you want to run is basically, I think, one of the best supports for the deck, and one of my favorite cards, and actually I'm really happy they reprinted it, and that is 3 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. This card is basically, discard a card, special summon, search a Dark Magician, so we can use this effect, or you can use her as a Kalut to give your Dark Spellcaster at 2000 attack, so that's actually really nice. Really simple card, and also opening for you rank 6's plays. Too bad she's not counted as a Dark Magician on the field, right? And the next card, which is in my opinion also very important, you want to run triple copies of Magician Rod. And this card, first effect, when it's normal summon, you add a Magician, which specifically lists the name of Dark Magician from your or trap, spell or trap, that specifically listed Dark Magician on its text to your hand. So yeah, that's really nice. And then also, it has a graveyard effect during your opponent's turn. If you activate a spell card or effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can target one spellcaster type monster, add this card to your hand. You can only use each effect of Magician's Rod once per turn. So this is actually really nice. So yeah, that's really cool. And then that's pretty much it. Does it for the Dark Magician, normal support, the support that everybody runs. And then now for my special tech, so for the 2 special tech monsters that I run 2 copies of Magician, Choco Magician Girl. You don't have to run her. I just like her because she just like, could be a nice in a pinch, and she can also be a revival if you get attacked. So that's really cool. And she can ditch your spellcaster, so you have like enough spellcaster most of the time to ditch for her, and she's just a nice card in general. 1600 beat stake level 4, which is really cool. And then the other last spellcaster I'm running is basically one Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, or Blue Boy if you prefer. It just, you know how the Spellbook engine works, so I need just one of this. And then the last monster is a hand trap, which is Max C. Pretty simple and that as well. So that does it for the monsters. 15 monsters. I think that this deck don't need more than that. And now we'll move on to the spells. So 3 of the most important spell in the deck, in my opinion. Magician's Circle. This card, what it does is basically, I think it's a little bit of bad. I thought that the first effect is a little bit bad at first. I mean, it's still not the greatest, but it's still nice. So this card is basically lets you to look at the top 3 cards in the deck, and if they have a card which lists specifically Dark Magician in its text, you get to add it to your hand. So you have 24 targets in the deck, so you don't really need to worry about this way too much, like counting also the other. Except himself, you have 23, but like, yeah, you have 24 targets in the deck in general, like 24 cards with this. And then you also have an awesome effect, which is basically when you special summon a Dark Magician, during either player's turn, of course, you get to banish a card your opponent control, which is really cool. So this card is really nice. Of course, you can only use each of his effect once per turn, so it doesn't really matter if you control more than one of these, but just 3 of this because you want to say this card as soon as possible. Then for the last 3 Dark Magician like cards that specifically you can search, I run 1 Inheritance because you banish 2 spells from your graveyard. And add a Dark Magician spell trap with the name Dark Magician in its text, or Dark Magician Girl. Doesn't really matter, but like it's nice that they did that. And then 1 Illusion Magic, because this card you tribute a Dark Spellcaster, and then you add 2 Dark Magicians from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And then your Heavy Storm for the deck if you control a Dark Magician. And that does it for that. And then for the other spells, the one card that I'm actually really disappointed it hasn't have the ability to search itself, but like I get it because this card is really powerful, is 3 Eyes of Timaeus. This card, if you control a basically you can fusion summon any Dark Magician fusion, and like you need to control the monster to do that, so like you cannot do it from your hand like the others. And this card is also giving you, it cannot like be searched because his text say like Dark Magician monster. It doesn't specifically, it's really hard to explain, but it just does not work. It just like doesn't specifically tell Dark Magician as the individual, it says as a monster. So it's kind of like, it's unsearchable by all the cards if you didn't know. And then you can only activate 1 per turn, but I run 3 of this because I want to see it as soon as possible. And then the other card that I'm running, which I like it in the special tech of mine, is basically Dark Magic Veil, because it's just a nice card, just like, oh hey, I don't have anything on the board. Like, you could find at times that you don't want, like you don't open up with a monster, but you don't want to run more than 15 monsters in my opinion. So you have Dark Magic Veil, you just pay 1,000, just bring out your, most of the time I will bring out Apprentice, just right here, and then get another search. So that's actually really cool, and that's pretty much it for that. And now for the draw power of the deck. We have 6 cards that help us do that, and that is the 2 Spellbook of Secrets, which are basically another name for the 2 Spells of Knowledge, a Spellbook of Knowledge, because you already know what it does. It's basically a Spellbook engine. And then I run 2 Pot of Duality. Now, the reason why I don't run Allure of Darkness is because I only have 11 targets in the deck for Allure of Darkness, and all of them are really important. So I decided like Pot of Duality is really nice turn 1. Afterward it could get problematic, but like it's okay. Like most of the time the shenanigans happen during your opponent's turn, so it's really okay. I like this lineup of like draw cards. If you don't want this, you can just put an Upstart Goblin or 1 Allure of Darkness, or just Upstart Goblin and 1 Day of Peace, whatever you prefer, but that's what I prefer. I do not recommend to put Pot Desires because it just banish your entire deck, so that's at least my opinion. And that is for spells. Now we'll move on to traps. So first off, of the most important trap in the deck, I run Free Eternal Soul, because this card, what it does is basically you revive a Dark Magician. It's simple as that. Like you can only use this effect, each effect of him once per turn, but you can revive a Dark Magician from your hand, bring a revive from the graveyard or summon from the hand, and its other effect is add 1 Dark Magic attack or 1,000 Knives, which you don't run, but you can search your Heavy Storm, so it's really cool. So you can do either of those effects. We can only use each effect. You can only use 1 effect once per turn. And the second thing it does, it's protecting your monsters, Dark Magician's monsters. They're unaffected by your opponent card effects. So it's really cool. The other problem with this card is there is a problem because it's really powerful. It's basically when it's leave the field while it's face up, you're basically destroying the entire field. But we have a card in the extra deck to just make this card like a little bit more better. So yeah. And then the second most important trap, in my opinion, is Free Magician Navigation. This card make your Dark Magic Circle live in a way. And this is, I would say, my favorite card in the deck, because this card is just like, you special summon a Dark Magician from your hand, so you have to have it in hand, so that's why Apprentice Illusory Magician is so good in the deck. And then you special summon one level 7 or lower Dark Magician from your Dark Spellcaster from your deck. So that's actually really good. If you control a Dark Magician except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you also have the ability to banish this card and then target one face-up spell trap on the field your opponent controls, and then basically negate until the end of this turn. So it's really, really nice because it just can negate field spells. So it's really, really cool. I don't think it can negate like a spell that they just activate, because it doesn't count as the face up, because it's just like, it's not a continuous, so I'm not 100% sure about the ruling, but it just really come in handy against field spells. And then the last 3 cards I'm running one Dark Renewal, because Dark Renewal, in my opinion, just a nice tech 1 card, because like it just like when your opponent summon a monster that is really important, just send it to the graveyard and with one monster you control, and just get, for example, an Apprentice or a Dark Magician and make your Dark Magic Circle live, just whatever you want. And then the last 2 traps are 2 Lost Wind. Those can be whatever you want. Same goes for a Choco, you can take this out, but like I just like 2 Lost Winds, because in my opinion, Lost Wind is a very underrated trap. And that this does it for the main deck. Like I explained always, I'm not doing a side deck because I'm not 100% sure what is the meta is, so when we'll get a little bit more confirmation, I will do that, and when I feel like it. So to start things off with your extra deck, I'm running 2 copies of Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. This card has such a simple effect, and it's so good. It's counted as a Dark Magician while it's on the field or in the graveyard, and it's protect your opponent cannot target spell and traps you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent card effects. So it just protects your Eternal Soul. It's so good because it protects your Eternal Soul, Dark Magic Circle, all the 2 most important spells and like the important spell and trap in the deck, which is really, really good, and I love it. I really love it. And then we also run other fusions because we can. 1 Amulet Dragon because it's just a nice card to just banish all your spells and be as powerful as hell. And then 1 Dark Paladin because you just basically can just, like, if you're playing against the Dragon decks, like Kaiba deck, like, you know, Blue Eyes, you can just drop this. It's just a nice card to have at 1. You don't really need to care about this. And that's pretty much it for the fusions. Sorry for that. And then for the Xyz, the 2 most important Xyz are the 1 Ebon Illusion Magician and the 1 Ebon High Magician. Those are the 2 I'm going on the most. Ebon Illusion a lot more important, but I never needed a second one, so I just running the 1. And then Ebon High just really, really cool as well. This just help you banish stuff and just like special summon and help you OTK. And this card is just like really, really nice because you can activate cards from your hand like just during your opponent's turn, which is really, really cool because it can protect your Eternal Soul and you don't have to activate it during your own turn, get it destroyed. So that's really, really nice. And then for the other rank 7s, I'm running 1 red Flare Metal because it just basically burn your opponent for death. 1 Gaia Charger because it's Gaia Charger, just really, really nice. And then 1 Big Eye because it's Big Eye. Really, really simple as that. And that does it for the rank 7s. For the rank 6, I run 2 rank 6s. Which are the Utopia Beyond and the Vampiric Dragon, which I don't own a Naruto the Moral Leader, so that's why I'm running this, and I might actually even cut one of those to be the Naruto the Moral Leader, but like, I just like have those 2, and they're not that bad. This card in general is actually really fun, but I am considering maybe to changing it, so we'll see how that goes. And that pretty much does it for that. And then the last Xyz monster I'm running is a very, very simple one. Is Break Sword, because Break Sword, it just breaks sword. It's really, really good for rank 3 plays. And that does it for the Xyz. And then the last 3 monster I'm running is a free Link monsters, is 2 Link Spiders, and the 1 Decon Talker. You could run a Proxy Dragon just to like save yourself a spot, but I just like to run this too because I'm like going Dark Magician, use it, Eternal Soul, bring it back, Dark Magician, like use it again, and then just like use it with another monster, Decon Talker. It's just a fun play to do. It's not that important, so you could put, like, even take your Link monster and just put whatever you want, because it doesn't really matter for this deck to go too much for the extra deck, but it could be nice. So yeah, that's pretty much does it for that. And that does it, of course, to this deck profile. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Sorry it was a little bit too long. I'm trying to shorten the videos, but like, yeah, that's it for that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Like I said, follow the schedule, and remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day, guys.